All right, we'll go ahead and get started, guys. And anytime you want to jump in, just post in the chat box. But we're going to do this 3 times. We got 3 sessions scheduled. Each session is going to cover something that I think can help you get an increase. Today, we're going to tackle 2 things. We're going to tackle Pray Drive, and I'm going to explain the activators of Pray Drive, okay, which is going to help you sell at a higher frequency because you need to know what activates your Pray Drive. And you need to know how to use the activators of Pray Drive to get a person to take action on something, okay? And I know that's very difficult during this period. No, it's difficult for you. It's difficult for us. Even people that want to do it, even people that want to take action are still in a halting position. So we're going to talk about how does Pray Drive affect a person's ability to take action? How do you activate something in a person where they go, I'm in, let's go, let's do this, okay? And so we're going to tackle Pray Drive for you in the beginning. Then we're going to move to how do you close with confidence. And to Luke's point, I would just tell you, I want you to remember something as we go throughout this. I have at some point in my life removed all internal considerations that I have, meaning a consideration is an internal thought that prohibits an external action. Okay, so a consideration is nobody's buying anything right now. I can't get anybody on the phone. They'll never spend that much money. I'll be harassing them if I follow up. You know, I don't want to look like I'm chasing people. These are all internal considerations that we have, which prohibits us from just asking a simple question. Luke, would you like to get started? Luke, is there anything that would prohibit you from taking action? Luke, it seems like this is perfect for you. It sounds like this is a perfect plan. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about how, until you remove these from your life, you're going to skirt around asking for the sale. Okay, you're going to be hesitant to just say. I tell my team, look, if they don't take action and we push them some and they don't take action, we didn't lose anything. You can't lose something you don't already have. So if you come across and you seem, I'm going to replace the word aggressive with convicted. When I have a conviction, I'm going to push hard on that conviction. Now, some people may not like how hard.
Okay, I'm back. Hey, how's it going?
Some people may not like how hard I push on that conviction, and that's okay. There's 7 billion people on planet Earth. I'm not looking for all of them. I'm only looking for people that are looking for me. So some people may mistake conviction with aggression and go, you know, this guy's a little too aggressive. I would argue that I'm just have a deep conviction about me that my product or service can help you at a higher frequency. And if I have that conviction, then I am literally not afraid to ask anybody for anything at any time. Okay, I just sent a book. I've got a book called The Accountable Church that I wrote for churches, and I just sent a message to Stephen Furtick. Furtick's one of my favorite pastors over in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I just sent him an Instagram message. And basically, in that Instagram message, I basically said, "Hey, Stephen, you don't know me. I'm Coach Michael BURT. I wrote a book for churches. I'm not a pastor, but I've been a churchgoer my whole life. I'd love to get your feedback on this book, so I'm going to send you a copy." And you let me know what you think. I had no reservation, no consideration, no hesitation of asking a complete stranger for something. All he can do is come on there and say, no, I'm not interested. I'm still going to send him the book. All I can say, I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to review it, whatever the case. But this is real important because part of closing people is having this Pray Drive, which is this instinctual ability inside of you to go for the kill, to make the ask, to not be afraid of their response. Okay, I just sent a text message to a CEO of a major company who I've been going back and forth with, and asked him if he'd like for me to do a webinar for his company. He came back to me and said, we're working 12 hours a day, which I didn't think was really that much. I'm like, just 12? I mean, you're not working that hard, you're just working 12 hours. But he came back and he said, we're working 12 hours a day, trying to get better at fundamentals. Here was my response back to him. Excellent. Would you be open to a strategy call with you and I, 15 minutes to see if we have alignment with each other like this person said we did? All he can do is come back and say, no, I'm not open to it. I'm not interested in it. Lose my number. But he's communicating with me. Would you rather know in 15 seconds or chase somebody for 15 months? See, this is going to force him to either say, yes, I'm interested, or no, I'm not. Either way, I win. Because if he's not interested, I'm not going to waste any more time on it. I'm going to move on to the next person. And my belief is there is no shortage of opportunity. There's a shortage of initiative. There's a shortage of creativity. There's a shortage of courage. So what I try to do with my salespeople is say, let's remove any consideration you have, any hesitation. Okay. I had a person today say to me, well, let me see if my boss will pay for it. Okay. I want to do your coaching program. Let me see if my boss will pay for it. And I said, look, I have a simple philosophy. Never allow another person to stand between you and your destiny. If your boss doesn't pay for you, is it his potential or is it your potential? If you're really serious about it, why don't you just pay for it? Why don't you get serious about it? Why would you take your destiny and put it in another person's hands? Now, if that offends him, then he was easily offended. I probably don't need to be his coach anyway if he could be offended that easily. Now, what I'm trying to get across to you guys is when it comes to closing, a lot of the reason people don't close is they do something I call sales flirting. They sales flirt. Okay. I live in the South in Nashville, and I call it sweet tea and apple pie. And instead of asking for the sale, people will flirt around the sale. They'll say, well, if you need anything, call me, or here's my business card. Call me when you need me. Or they'll say, you know, hey, I'm here for you. If you don't like this, they won't just come out and say, Jeremy Forrester, if I could do this for you, like I've done it for all these other people, man, what would stop us from moving forward today? Like, it seems like this is what you want to do. It sounds like this is perfect. It feels like I got the right plan. Are you ready to take action? Like, it takes some guts to ask that, right? And we have in us such a deep fear of rejection. Okay. And I've removed any fear of rejection in my life, guys. I believe there is no such thing as rejection. Some will, some won't. So what? All I can do is ask. All I can do is work the muscle. All I can do is make the call. All I can do is say, look, man, it seems like you're interested. On a scale of 1 to 10, Jason Weller, on a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you about taking action? And most people tell me I'm at a 4, I'm at a 6. If they tell me they're at a 7, I'm like, look, sounds like you're ready to go. Nobody said you had to be at a 10 to get started, right? So I'm going to give you some of these techniques, but I first want to tackle this pray drive concept because it's very easy. It's very easy for me. We make 80 phone calls a day from each salesperson in my office, 40 in the morning, 40 in the afternoon. And we track those calls. We track talk time. We track calls. And you say, man, sounds like a lot of calls. Here's a belief I have. Roughly 16% of people that you present an idea to will be open and inviting to that idea. That's the early adopters and the innovators. 34% are called early majority. They have to see an idea 3 to 7 times. Another 34% are called late majority. They have to see an idea 7 to 15 times. Then you're going to have 16% of people that are never going to see it. They're called laggards. Okay. I like to joke and say they're losers because they're never going to take action. I don't care if you moved in with them and told them you could make them 15 million bucks. They still wouldn't be open to this idea, to your idea. So I want to know real quickly, of the 84% of people I'm calling on, who's in and who's out? Who's the 16% I'm looking for? I want to weed out the 84%. See, what I'm doing with this CEO here is I'm weeding him out. Either you're in or you're out. Do you believe I can help you, or do you not believe I can help you? On a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you? If you don't think I can, it's okay. There's no rejection. Okay. They may not want what you have to offer, but somebody else will. And I like to joke and say, if my wife would have wanted 6'2", blonde hair and blue eyes, a full head of hair, she wouldn't have wanted me, right? She'd have wanted somebody else, but she wanted me, 5'6", bald headed pit bull. That's who she wanted. Okay. Now, so my point to you is simple. The pray drive it takes is this. Pray drive is instinctual ability to see it and go get it. Now, it's very easy during this cycle because I've even caught myself thinking, why make all these calls? Nobody's answering the phone. Everybody's scared to death. Nobody's taking action. It's so easy during this period to become discouraged. That means take away courage. So what we do is we just contract. And we go, well, I'm not going to make the calls. I'm going to goof off. I'm going to play on Instagram. I'm going to go and when the world starts back again, which is placing our destiny in another person's hands, we don't know when Donald Trump is going to reopen the economy. Maybe it's May 1st. I hope it's May 1st, but he may come back and say it's June 1st. What are you going to do? You're just going to keep waiting until something else happens? Now we're violating that rule. My philosophy is simple. We're going to make the 80 calls a day because there's no wasted movement. We're going to call on people and we're going to do discovery and we're going to build rapport and we're going to locate a problem and we're going to offer a solution. Some of those people are going to take action. Okay. 16% of them are going to be open. And then there's going to be 84% of them that go, no, let me see it. I'm not making any big decisions. I need to think about it. I need to sleep on it. I need to pray about it. That does not matter to me. What matters to me is, are my people working the muscle every day? Are they getting better? And when you make 80 calls a day, by George, you get better. You know what you get better at? Getting people on the phone, overcoming objection, building rapport, locating problems, offering solutions, pivoting. So to me, that's that old basketball coach in me, is we would practice a move over and over and over and over so that when we got in the game, boom, it was muscle memory. And muscle memory means it's habit. It's automatic. We don't need to practice. We've practiced that move 1,000 times. Okay. So what is prey drive? Prey drive is instinctual ability to see something with the eyes or the mind and have the guts to go get it. Okay. There is 3 parts of it. It has to be activated. There has to be a persistence to it. And there has to be an intensity to it. What I have found by coaching thousands of people is either they have never activated the prey drive or it has been deactivated. How does it become deactivated? We get comfortable. We get complacent. Our basic needs are met. We got a nice house. We got a nice car. We make a decent living. So what happens is our drive to get up and go get it is suppressed. And what we do is we just stay. It's a false positive. See what the economy has done for us, which has been a positive, is it has awoken us from a slumber. It was too easy. People are spending money. Now it's like, no, it ain't easy now. Now guess what happens when it ain't easy, JT Hustle? It separates out the pretenders from the contenders, right? When it ain't easy, you find out who's the real deal and who pretended to be the real deal, right? That's why I love competition, guys. The competition weeds out the fakers. So right now, what we're going to find out is who can really sell something. Who can really activate the drive in another person? Who can really get a person off the fence? Who's got the juice to overcome the uncertainty that other people have in their life? Okay, so let me give you activators of your prey drive. And I want you to raise your hand when I hit one that activates your drive. How many of you, your prey drive is activated through competition? Raise your hand if when you, right? Okay, so for some of you, you need a competition. I was coaching an insurance company this morning, and they're all 1099, so they're working from home, and they're selling final death expense insurance. That's cheap insurance for elderly people who do not have insurance. So if they die, there's enough money to pay for the funeral. Okay, it's $10,000 or $15,000 worth of insurance. It pays for a proper burial, so the family's not left with that. Would you think that'd be a good time to be selling this now? Yes or no? Of course, it's one of the best times in the world. So I'm coaching one final death expense company that's having record days. They're selling more final death expense insurance because elderly people are worried about getting the virus, worried about dying and not having any insurance. It's easy for them to sell it. But this company I was coaching this morning was actually having a hard time selling it. And you know why? Because many of their people that were working from home were not making their calls. They're making 0 calls. They're sitting at home. They got no probability of selling anything. And I was coaching the owners, and they asked me, how can we activate the prey drive? I said, put the number of calls they make up for everybody to see. If they made 0 calls, do you know how embarrassing it'll be when everybody in the company gets to see they made 0 calls? Okay. Embarrassment and competition are 2 activators of prey drive. And when I say embarrassment, I'm not trying to personally embarrass them, but let's be honest. If you were in the business of selling and you didn't make any calls, how serious are you about selling? You ain't that serious, right? Because you're not going to sell anything if you don't initiate anything. So when you understand prey drive activators, for some of you, competition is an activator. Like for the number 1 dude or the number 1 woman on here, I guarantee it would drive you crazy if there was somebody right on your tails. You wouldn't take a day off if you like being number 1. Okay. When I coach banks and I coach 40 or 50 branches, every Monday I show the results of all of those branches. You know how embarrassing it is being number 50 out of 50 banks? Here's what I'd see. I'd put those numbers up there, and number 50 would magically jump down to number 40 the next week. And then the next week they'd be 35. And it was so crazy to see, because I'd say, no, I would never embarrass them because I don't believe in that. I would simply say, all right, number 50, help me to understand what's going on with your branch, that you're out of 50 people, you're number 50. And they'd say, well, coach, we're just embarrassed. And we don't guarantee we won't be number 50 next week. And they would show a spike in sales the next week, all because why? Competition and embarrassment. Those are 2 activators of prey drive. What if I told you sometimes I'm embarrassed by my own performance when I look at some of my contemporaries that have built $100 million coaching companies, and I'm sitting there going, well, man, I'm just a little single-digit millionaire compared to them. I ought to be a double-digit millionaire, right? I'm embarrassed because I have so much more to give than what I'm giving. I go home to my wife and I'm like, dang, man, I'm operating at this level and I ought to be operating at this level. That's embarrassment. Third activator of Pray Drive is environment. Okay. What I do with my team, and if you were on my team, we meet 3 times a day, just like this. We meet at 8:30 every morning. We meet at 12:30 every day, and we meet at 4:45 every day, every single day. When I get done with you, I'm going to meet with my team. Here's what I'm going to ask them. You see Eric White, who's on my sales team. I can track every call he's made. I can listen to his calls, and I'm going to ask him, Eric, out of the 80 calls you made today, how many people were interested? Who's in your red zone? That means people closest to making a buying decision. Are you going 7 touches in the follow-up? And listen, I don't have to question if Eric's going 7 touches because I know he's going 7 touches because that's what we've trained him to do. We have an environment that has very high expectations. Imagine playing for Nick Saban at the University of Alabama. Do you think he's got expectation? Imagine playing for Dabo Swinney at Clemson. Do you think he's got expectation? Right? Imagine playing for some of the top people in the world. And
how Coach Izzo.
That's exactly right. Imagine playing for, you say Izzo?
Izzo.
Yeah, imagine playing for Izzo and asking, does he have expectation? 24% of the people in the NFL said if they could choose any coach to play for, they'd play for Pete Carroll, Seattle Seahawks.
You can tell who of us are MSU and Michigan fans.
That's right. Now, here's the point. When they ask who they'd like to play for, 24% of the players said Pete Carroll. You watch Pete Carroll coach, he's positive, he's smacking people on the hind end, he's jumping up and down, he's smiling and having fun. The guy's 70 years old. And they ask his players, is he easy to play for? And his players said, absolutely not. His expectation is so high, he forces you to be better. Now, I'm good buddies with Tim Grover. Tim Grover wrote the book Relentless, and he was Michael Jordan's strength coach for 15 years. And he said that Jordan's pure will forced people to show up 4 hours early for practice. He said people would show up for practice, and they'd say the rookies would show up for practice 15 minutes before practice, and Grover and Jordan would say, what's wrong with you? Why are you late to practice? And they'd be like, what do you mean I'm 15 minutes early? And Jordan said, no, early is 4 hours early. That's early to practice. From now on, if you're going to play on my team with me and we're going to win a championship, you're going to show up 4 hours early for every game. Jordan lifted full 100% lifting on game days, which was almost unheard of in those days. People said he'd mess his shot up. He wouldn't be at peak performance. So he had a standard. How many of you, when you're around big time people and there's lots of expectations, you play harder? Raise your hand. Okay. Now here's the deal. You need that accountability in your life because you won't work the muscle if you don't have that accountability. Okay. This is very important. You guys are out there on your own. You're selling from houses. It's so easy to fall off the wagon. And okay. So what happens is you got to set expectation. I want my people, when I walk in the room, their expectation to go up. I want them to know I'm not in it for mediocrity. If you didn't make 80 calls a day, you didn't make the effort. Now, I'm not telling you, you got to make 80. That's just what we do in a day because we believe in the 16% rule. So Pray Drive is activated by competition. It is activated by embarrassment. It is activated by environment. It is activated by inspiration from others. And the fifth one I want to give you, it is activated by fear of loss. How many of you have built a pretty good life? You built a pretty good life. You live in a nice house, right? How many of you wake up in the morning and you don't want to lose that? All right. And that motivates you. Okay. It motivates you to go, to do. This is actually my number one motivator. The number one thing that motivates me is fear of losing everything I built. Okay. Fear of losing. I don't want to go back to the way I used to live, guys. I grew up poor. I lived, my mom, is me and my mom, we lived in a house where the bedroom and the living room and the kitchen were all the same room. I never vacationed anywhere great for the first 16 years of my life. I went to Gatlinburg, Tennessee, to the Smoky Mountains. I stayed in the same crappy Best Western for the first 16 years because it had an indoor swimming pool. Okay. And I told Mom, I said, Mom, I'm going to make enough money to buy you a Best Western. Okay. And so here's my point. I don't want to go back to the way. So every morning I wake up, I thank the good Lord. Thank you. I'm grateful. And let me tell you something. And I tell my wife, it's time to go to work. We worked hard to build this. We're not going to lose it. So fear of loss is big. Now, how do you use this in a selling cycle? Once you understand these motivators of people, what if I told you that you can get a person excited enough to take action and create an environment where a person will take action? Would you believe me? Yeah. What if I told you that, but social proof of examples of other people using your product and service would get people excited? What if people felt like there's competition? You know, I had one client once that was paying us $350,000 a year for me to coach him. And you know what he said to me? I want to be your number one paying client. If anybody even gets close to paying you this much money to be their coach, you tell me, because we will raise what we're paying you. Now, how many of y'all would like to have a client like that? He was motivated by being number one, right? And these people at the top of my coaching circle, they would get in these arguments about who was going to be the top paying client. And I would create these different levels of coaching. And every time I create a different level, they'd say, I want a higher level than that person. I don't want that person to pay more money than me. Like, I want to be the highest paying client you got. You know why? Their prey drive was activated by competition. So when I'm talking to a person, I may say to a person, Mindy, everybody's in except you. Like, we got everybody's taking action except you. Like, what's stopping you from taking action? So-and-so's in and they love it. So-and-so's in and they love it. So-and-so in there. Look at the results we're getting for these other people. But we can't get those results for you because you won't take action. So remember this saying, I can't help you until you commit. But once you commit, I'm not going to let you fail. This is one of my great closing lines that I use. Man, I can't help you till you commit. Okay? But once you commit, I'm not going to let you fail. Now, are you in or out? And many times people will say, I'm in. I'm in, coach. I'm ready to go. Okay? Here's another closing line I use. We lose 10% of momentum every day we don't take action, maybe more. Every day you don't take action. Now, let me ask you a question, Tim Iverson. Have you ever been on the wrong side of momentum?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Don't that suck? Sucks to be on the wrong side of momentum, doesn't it?
No, it's like getting run over.
Exactly. So here's my point. Momentum is just energy. If you've ever been on the wrong side of momentum, you don't want to be on the wrong side of momentum. And here's the deal. We're losing momentum. We had it. We're moving towards something. We're going to build something together. Now we're losing that momentum. We lose 10% or more of momentum every day. I'll say to a person, there's power in taking action. The cost of indecision in your life is so great, guys. That's what you're losing here. Is we're losing time. We're losing money. We're losing energy. That's what? Fear of loss. Okay. And fear of loss is actually the number one motivator for many people in the world. I'm afraid of losing. I'm afraid of missing out. I'm afraid of not having opportunity. I'm afraid somebody else is going to get ahead of me. Okay. So once I understand these activators of prey drive, I then use the activators in the selling cycle. I use social proof. I use competition. I use fear of loss. I use environment. I use inspiration. Okay. And I'm pushing people toward a decision. Okay. So when it comes to prey drive activators, one of those 5 most likely activates your drive. Now Daniel Pink wrote a book called Drive, and he said there's 3 things that motivate people: purpose, mastery, and autonomy. And that's scientifically based on what he said. But Daniel hasn't coached people like I have for 28 years. There are other motivators for people besides those 3 things. What if I told you a lot of the top people I coach don't know their purpose? They don't know their why. They just get out and go get it every day. And in the pursuit of their potential, their purpose finds them. They didn't read the book, Find Your Why first, and then go out in the world and do something big. They didn't sit in a room and meditate on what their why was. They just took action. And through the course of taking so much action, they found their purpose, or their purpose found them. Okay. So in my new book on Prey Drive, I've got a chapter called Screw Your Why. Okay. You don't have to find your why to do something big in the world. Okay. You need to take action. Okay. So when you think about it, how many of you, by raise of hands, feel like you're not taking enough action to create enough momentum to create sales? Raise your hand and be honest. Okay. All of us, right? And all progress starts by telling the truth. All right. I tell you, it ain't going to do you any good to lie to me about this. All right. Now, how many calls, let me just call on some people. How many calls, Jason Weller, do you think a person in your business needs to be making every day? How many initiations, how many efforts?
Right now, 100.
Okay. 100 a day?
Yep.
All right. And out of the 100 a day, let's say you make 50 in the morning and 50 in the afternoon. What percentage of people do you think are typically open? Are you finding that it's the 16% that I talk about?
Yeah, I actually think it's lower. I mean, with the current environment today, it's about 10% in my opinion.
Yep. I'd agree with that. Now, can we all agree that if you make the 100 calls, you can go home tonight? Okay. Here's how I define a good day. Got up this morning, had my spiritual time. I watch a sermon every morning. I work out through a very aggressive workout called Tap Out, which is a mixed martial arts workout. I then see my daughter and my wife. I then go to work. I work 12 to 14 hours a day. I then go home. I play dodgeball with my 7-year-old daughter in the house. It's a lot of fun. We break things and run around the house and chase each other. I give my wife a big kiss because she's pregnant with our new son. It's coming in a month. And then I shut it down. But here's what I know at the end of the day. If I made my calls, if I worked out, if I spent a good hour with my daughter, if I got some time with my wife, I classify that as a good day. Would y'all classify that's a good day? Yes or no? Now, if I didn't get up, if I drug out of bed, if I didn't get my workout in, if I didn't watch the sermon I was supposed to, if I didn't make my calls, if I didn't spend time with my daughter, if I didn't give my wife a big kiss, then I classify it as a bad day. I say, man, I didn't put the effort in today. I didn't work the muscle today. So I don't want to have that guilt on me. So if you're calling 100 people a day, if you're not calling 100 people a day, then right now I want you to know there is no wasted muscle. And what I mean by that, there's no wasted movement. When you take the effort, right? So I want to put this into a system that I want to show you. And I want you to tell me where you think you're missing right now. Number one, activation of prey drive. You can type this in. I'm going to give you 6 parts of a selling system. Number one, there's the activation of prey drive. Okay. So you may say, I've gone stale. I've gotten lazy. I've gotten comfortable. I'm not working the muscle. It's okay. Let's just call it what it is. Number 2, explanation of services. Do you have a world-class explanation of service? So that when you get people on the phone, how good are you at explaining the increase and advancement they're going to get through you? Okay. And we teach a whole course on a 6-step framework in how to explain your services. Okay. But if you don't have a world-class EOS, you're really still playing at an amateur level because professionals have a world-class explanation of value. Number 3, the selling system. I'm using 12 to 14 strategies at any given moment to try to get our phone to ring or try to produce leads. Okay. And I don't know how many leads you're getting in a month. I'm producing about 1,000 a month or somewhere around about 1,000 a month. Okay. But we're working different angles. So I'm doing webinars and I'm doing this and I'm doing partnerships and I'm doing live Facebooks and I'm doing virtual summits and I'm making outbound calls and I'm working our current clients. You see what I'm saying? Like I'm pulling all these levers, trying to drive up the leads. So my sales team has 1,000 people to call on a month because of those numbers we're trying to do. Okay. And it takes a lot of effort. So the selling system is I got a daily action. I'm spending roughly 4.5 hours a day on new money, prospecting for new money, 2.5 hours in the morning, 2.5 hours in the afternoon, every day on nothing but new money. Next piece, $1 million follow-up. Do you have a great 7-touch follow-up between the time a person indicates interest and the time the person takes action? Okay. And I wrote a book on this called $1 Million Follow-Up. Okay. 7 touches, linear, nonlinear. We send lots of videos, hype videos. We're now editing 4 to 6 minute videos of me and my philosophy, and we pump those puppies out. And what it does is it gives them a chance to go, I like it, I don't like it. I'm interested, I'm not interested. And it hits them in an emotional way. Like I just cut one just a minute ago about why people allow other people to control their destiny. Why you should never let another person control your destiny. All right, next one is referrals. How many referrals are you getting out of your current client base? You know what's interesting is we got a client named Amanda Banks. She's a little firecracker in Nashville. And the other day she said to me, I want to do a virtual summit with you. She had 60 or 70 people on there. And you know what was funny is there were next Steve of people on there that had saw me speak in Phoenix, had not taken action, but and that rekindled the fire of seeing me in Phoenix. Now, what was funny is this happened from one client that I have who said, man, I'm on fire for Coach Burt. He's helping me. I want to expose him to my entire network of people. She did all the legwork. She put me in front of 60 people. We probably generated 10 to 15 leads out of that deal. Now, I think about her and I think about the 400 other clients I have. And I ask myself, are we getting 5.7 referrals out of every client? Okay. And JT and the other people, who's the other person that's using social media a lot?
Tim Iverson.
Okay. Tim Iverson. Here's what I would tell you. When you use the social media, you're doing it for one reason, and that is to activate energy and leads. It's to reactivate people and to generate new leads. So when I'm doing any type of social media, anybody that's on there liking it, commenting it, our sales team is immediately going to them just to start a conversation. And they're saying, hey, did you watch the session with Coach Burt? Did you like it? What specifically did you like about it? And then would you like to do a strategy session with Coach Burt? And you would be shocked how many people go, yes, here's my number. I'd like to do a session. If it's a 15-minute session. Now let's recode this. A strategy session is a sales call. It's literally a 15-minute session that I do with people, and I locate a problem and I offer a solution. You know how many people we've sold something to by doing that? They watched me on social media. They liked what I did. We followed up with them. We created a lead. We did a strategy. We turned it into a sale. Everybody see that? So I'm good with you using social. I'm going to encourage you to use more social, but I want you to really understand that the social is an activation point. And this is where we're going to get into in our session on social media, how to share your beliefs in a very strong way so you attract people to you. And then those people become leads. Those people become sales. Okay. Now,
Are you saying that can be political?
am I saying it can be political?
That was a joke. Sorry.
Yeah. Now, here's what I had to think about it for a second, because I'm to the point in my life that when I go on social, I'm trying to separate people. I'm trying to get people to say, I like that dude or I don't like him. Okay. And I'm trying to separate out the sheeps and the goats. I'm trying to separate out to say, yes, I'm in. No, I'm out. Like I did an interview today with a guy who wanted to ask me hard questions. And I'm like, great, ask me anything you want to ask me. And he was trying to make it controversial. So he was trying to ask me really hard questions that people don't typically ask me. And I said, man, go for it. Because I want people to either be in or out based on my answers to these questions. But guess what? We picked up leads, right? We picked up people goes, I like his answers. I like that dude. So are you extracting referrals out of your current client base? Are you re-engaging your client base on a consistent basis to keep them excited? I went to every one of my clients and said, I'll do a webinar. Every one of my top clients I've gone to and said, I'll be happy to do a webinar for your team. I'd be happy to do anything to stay in front of your team. I'd be happy to help you create sales during this period. I know it's not part of your contract. Don't matter. I want to keep people engaged. All they can do is say no. Almost every one of them said, I'd love for you to do it, coach. Thank you for doing it. If 10 people take action, then it's worth it. Okay. Now, Tim is investing in you guys having this webinar. So when you think about it, are you getting 5.7 referrals out of every transaction? Do you have a top 25? Are you nourishing your top 25 relationships right now? Are you extracting new opportunity? And new opportunity is not just new deals. Like what Amanda did for me was basically introduce me to 50 new people. She didn't guarantee me a deal. I had to get in there and do the work. But think about if you had each one of your top 25 clients introducing you to more people. You know, just think about that. All right. And finally, do you have a good person of interest marketing strategy? So here's your choices on where you think you're deficient. I want you to type them in. 1, pray drive. 2, explanation of service. 3, selling system. 4, follow-up. 5, extraction of referral. Or 6, marketing and promotion to become a person of interest. I'd like to see your answers in the chat box on where you think you're deficient. That's going to give us some good data too for when we go forward.
Coach, can you repeat those categories again, please?
Sure. Number 1, activation of prey drive. That means your prey drive is at a high. Number 2, explanation of service, meaning you're deficient in how you explain your value. Number 3, selling system to generate leads. Okay. Number 4, do you have a 7-touch follow-up? Number 5, are you extracting referrals out of your current clients? Or number 6, do you have a strategy you feel like to market and push out the distribution of your talent to the world? All right, people are typing in here. Referrals, follow-up. Good. See, what we're doing is we're finding the missing structure. And if we find the missing structure, then we go to work in this area and we say, here's a strategy, a tactic and strategy to fill that structure. These are the 6 areas I coach people in too, by the way. Okay, good. Jason Weller, system leads. JT Hustle, number 4. Ted Herrick, referrals. Okay. All right, now let's tackle a few of these. Then we're going to get into some closing technique. When you think about referrals, I want you to think about one thing: engagement. If you are not engaging with your clients, now I'm going to give you an example. I don't believe in customer service. I believe in customer engagement. If you engage with customers, you're going to service the customer. So I have a tactic and strategy. I actually write about it in the book, The Accountable Church, because I wrote that book for churches to stay engaged with their members. Okay. How many times have you gone to church on Sunday, heard a sermon, and you didn't even know by Monday what the sermon was about? and there's no follow-up. Nothing happened till the next Sunday, right? And so I wrote the book about what we do in our coaching program to keep people engaged. So there's a message on Sunday that I send out. There's a live call on Monday. There's a short coaching session on Tuesday, Thursday. There's a strategy I send to their email every week. There's constant engagement. Then I layer that on with events. I know we can't do events right now, so we're doing webinars. Then I layer on customer appreciation events, showcase events, edutainment events. What I'm trying to do is, I know one thing: when I keep people excited, I get more referrals. When I keep people engaged, I get more referrals. So I want you to draw a direct correlation between your engagement with your referrals. Now, every month I have something to push people to. I want you to think about what your version of this is. I have a course I teach every month, and it allows my sales team to call all of our members and say, hey, coach is looking forward to seeing you on the session tomorrow morning at 7:30. Have you made plans to be on here? How's it going? That creates engagement. That engagement creates referrals because people get excited and they go tell other people. So if you're having trouble with referrals, it's a good indication that you're not engaging with your current clients enough. Now, some of you are going to say, if I call my current clients, guess what they could do? What could they do? They could complain about something, right or wrong. So here's the deal. Let's just not call them, right? Now, what's the likelihood that they're going to refer you if you never talk to them? Do you know that there's a stat out there that says that 98% of people never follow up with their customer once they sell them a product or service? I mean, that's a ridiculous stat. Think about all the insurance policies people have sold you, never followed up. Think about the financial advisors that manage your money that never follow up. Think about people that sell you a product or service and never talk to you again, right? They never engage with you. What's the likelihood of you referring them to anybody where there's no engagement? So I want you to remember this: where there's no engagement with the product or service, there can be no transformation. And where there's no transformation, there's nothing to talk about. What do you want me to tell people? I never hear from them. I never talk to them, right? Now, we have a person in our coaching program that sold us a Nextiva phone system, and we use that phone system. He's in our $25,000 coaching program, and I'll give the guy credit. He comes and sees me. He stays engaged with me. He's taking me to lunch. He's checking on how the system's working. He's smart enough to know that I can introduce him to other business owners. So what does he do? He put me in his top 25. I'm one of his 25 biggest advocates. So he loves on me and spends me emotional support and spends time with me and engages with me. And then he says, Coach, out of these business owners, who do I need to be in front of? And I go, well, you need to be in front of these 5 people. Okay. And I may make an introduction for him. What if he had 25 of me work in that system? So that's engagement. Okay. All right. Let's finish with closing. And how does play drive play into closing? Closing a person is all about one word: confidence. Here's what happens. The reason a person doesn't take action on anything in life is 2 things: fear and uncertainty. Fear is an emotion. It's an unpleasant emotion created by a belief that something's going to harm me in the future. That's all it is. It's a belief something's going to harm me in the future. Fear breeds uncertainty, vacillation, doubt. Okay? When you're closing a person, they have that fear in their mind. What if it don't work? What if I spend the money? See, during a period like this, I'm going to tell you what my president came to me and said. She come to me and said, we could get a phone system cheaper than what we're paying. That's the very first thing she said to me. She said, look, if you're looking to control cost and cut expenses, we could cut it in our phone system. Okay. Now, when that conversation happens and she tells me, and I've hired her to do one thing, improve the profitability of the company. So she came in and she cut 14 to 20% of expenses. The revenue is up 5%, and she's watching those numbers every single day because that's what her job is. Then it comes down to how strong is my relationship with that person, with that rep? And is that relationship strong enough for me to justify spending a little bit more money every month on that phone system? How does it work? How fast is the speed to a problem? See, these are the kind of conversations people are having right now. What can we cut? Where can we save money? Where can we save $10,000? Where can we save $5,000? Where can we cut? That's the conversation people are having. We have to continually justify. This is why you're here. Okay. Let me tell you something, guys. It's hard to fire somebody you really like. It's hard to get rid of somebody that you really like. It's easy to get rid of somebody you don't like. Okay. So I'll give my little next Steve guy a bonus here because I like him. And the only thing saving him sometimes is me liking him. Okay. Because if I didn't like him, it would come down to pure transaction. I don't have a relationship with you. I don't know you. You're not here for me. Cut it. Okay. But no, I like the dude. So here's what I say. Let's keep going with that for right now. Let's keep going with it. Let's keep fighting through. We'll find another place to cut. Now, here's my point. When it comes to closing somebody, what's happening is they have uncertainty and you have certainty. And these two frames are colliding. And one of these frames is going to win. Okay. So how many of you have heard this objection? Objection is opposition of thought. How many of you have heard this objection? Timing's not right. Raise your hand if you've heard that one. Now I'm going to call on somebody. All right. Irvin, are you a salesperson?
Yes.
All right. Okay. When somebody tells you the timing's not right, what do you say?
Really, why do you think that?
Why do you think the timing's not right? Well, hey, have you watched the news, Irvin? Whole world's going down the drain.
I know, that's why it's a perfect time to do this product. Absolutely.
Can you help me? Can you help me understand why it's a perfect time?
Sure, because of the fact that now is the time your business is slowed down a little bit. You can take the time to do this properly. And we can help you so that when things improve, you're going to be set to take advantage of it.
All right. Now, here's what I would say. Are you open to some coaching on that?
Absolutely.
Okay. And I caught you off guard, so I'm going to give you bonus points for jumping in there. Here's what I want you to understand. When you get objection, you need to have a process you go through. Part of closing is overcoming an objection. An objection is an opposition of thought. So what I would teach you to do is work through a process. The first thing I want you to do is agree. Never disagree with the person that gives you the objection because it builds an adversarial relationship. So Irvin can say, Coach Burt, I understand why you think the timing is not right now. Okay. Right out of the gate, get agreement. Okay. I do this with my wife too. She just figured out the other day that I was using this technique on her. Okay. When she's mad at me and fussing, you know what I say? I understand. I agree. I was a terrible husband today. You're exactly right. I understand. Okay. Then I was speaking and she saw me speak and she's like, you've been using that technique on me. And I'm like, you spoiled me, right? Here's the deal. Never disagree with a person when they give objection because it builds an adversarial relationship between you and them. Agree. I understand. Irvin, I understand why you think it'd be a bad time to do this. Now, here's what I want you to do. Agree and then isolate the objection. The way you isolate is you say this. Now, Irvin, is there any other reason outside of timing that you would not take action on this? Is that the only reason you wouldn't take action? Because Irvin may be lying to me. It really may be the price, but he's using timing as an excuse. Everybody with me? What I'm trying to do is find the real objection. Irvin, is there any other reason outside of timing? Okay. So I listen, I agree, I isolate. After I isolate, I validate. Now, Irvin, if I could show you that now could be the perfect time to do this, would you be open to that? I'm seating. I'm seating him. I'm getting him ready. Okay. He may go, I still don't think it's the right time. Okay. After I validate the objection, I then challenge him. Now, when I challenge the prospect, here's what I say. Irvin, can't we both agree that the timing in life is never right to take action on something? Can't we both agree that we create our own timing? See, Irvin, if I had to wait on timing to take action, I'd still be a high school basketball coach making $60,000 a year, because I was going to keep on winning championships. I had to create my own timing. Irvin, there's power in taking action. Now, what I'm trying to do is challenge him to go, just open his mind to go, you know what? You may be right. I agree with you. Timing is never right to do anything. So everybody see the cycle I went through. I listened, I acknowledged, I isolated, I validated, I challenged. Now, you can't challenge if you're not confident. Okay? So I challenged a person the other day who's about to lose his job. He said, look, I really need a coach, but I'm afraid I'm going to lose my job. Timing's just not right. I understand. I'd be scared too if I thought I was going to lose my job. But can't we both agree that during times of transition, the number one thing you need in your life is a coach? The number one thing you need in your life is a confident person helping you to build, maintain, and protect your confidence. I wrote a book on confidence. I'm going to send it to you. I want you to read that book and then tell me if you need me, if you think your life would be better off with me in it or out of it right now. Because I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't tell you that this is the best time for you to have a coach. When I said that to him, he's like, well, you're right. I can see that. Okay, good. Are you ready to get started? Okay. He still was scared to death. He wasn't ready to get started, but I moved him down the line a little bit, right? Then I used my 7-touch follow-up. So closing is about certainty. Closing is about confidence. All right. Now I'm going to give you some questions to ask, and then we'll take some questions. Here's some questions I want you to start asking. Have you seen enough to make a decision? Question number 1. Have you seen enough to make a decision? Number 2, if I could do this for you, like I've done for all these other people, what would stop us from moving forward? Number 3, it seems like this is a perfect fit. If you use the word it seems like, it opens if you study negotiation, all the top negotiators would teach you to use the word it seems like, it sounds like, it feels like. That gets a person talking. Hey, Sean, seems like this is a perfect fit for you. Are you ready to get started today? If I could help you like I've helped all these other people, what would keep us from moving forward? And moving forward may not be sign a contract. It may be moving to the next meeting, right? Hey, Sean, I'm going to send you 2 things. I want you to look at it. I'm going to send you the agreement. If you're ready to sign it, go ahead and sign it. I'm going to check back with you in a few hours to make sure you got everything you need. I'm going to get you up and get you started. Okay. Sounds like, it seems like, it feels like. Is there anything that would prohibit you from taking action? Okay. These are things when I move down the field with the person, these are questions I ask to get them across the finish line. And if they hesitate, I say, now, Dan, I can't help you, man, until you commit. I'm sure you can understand that. But once you commit, I'm not going to let you fail. Are you ready to go? And many times they'll go ahead, let's do it. They're scared. What I'm doing is I'm giving them, okay, when you make this decision, you got America's coach behind you, Dan. You got a guy who's coached people for 28 years. I'm going to help you make a bunch more money. This is a small investment to the amount of money you're going to make. Now, you ready to get started? Okay. You have to give them a feeling of increase. Okay. With you in my life, I'm going to get an increase. You're going to help me make money. You're going to help me save money. And that comes down to confidence. It's that killer instinct. And I was raised in the South. So that's actually uncomfortable for me to say some of these things. I'm so used to, right, being liked. I'm so used to saying, hey, you know, if it sounds good to you, let's go. We'll send you the agreement. Now I'm like, look, if you're ready to go, let's go. I'm going to send you the agreement right now. Is there anything that prohibits you from signing it? Once I send it to them, I text them and say, did you get the agreement? When do you anticipate signing the agreement so we can get you onboarded? Then if they don't sign it in 3 hours, hey, I noticed you haven't signed the agreement yet. We're ready to get you started. Is there anything prohibiting you from taking action? Okay. And many times they'll say, it's sitting in my inbox. I'm going to do it. I'm sorry I didn't sign it. Like, what I'm trying to do is keep them. See, I've removed that consideration, guys. I've removed it because I can't help them until they commit. So what questions do you have about Pre-Drive, the selling system, or closing?
Can you explain a little bit more the second question? If I could do this for all these other people, can I do this for you?
Yeah, great question. And okay, so when you study persuasion, there are 6 tenets of persuasion. One of those tenets is called social proof, meaning throughout the sales cycle, like if I was explaining my services to you, Luke, I would say, here's what I believe. Okay, here's why I believe it. Here's what it is we're going to do for you. Here's how we do it different. Here are people we have done it for. And I'll use some examples. Okay. Like I helped this one guy who's in the next Steva system do this, and this. I helped this person improve their business by 43%. I helped this person go from doing 45 deals a year to 45 deals a month. And I'll give some social proof there. And that sets it up for me to go back to them and say, Luke, if I could do this for you, like I have done for these people, what would stop us from moving forward to the next round? And that would be social proof. Okay. People are looking for social proof. I don't know you. So if I don't know you, what's the likelihood of me moving forward? Like you need, and I use industry specific social proof. So if I'm coaching real estate agents, I say, let me tell you about a real estate agent I was coaching making 80,000 a year. Now I've got him making 80,000 a month. Let me tell you about a mortgage originator that came to me and wanted to do 60 million. I helped her get to 160 million. What I'll do is I'll use examples and associations in that industry. And then I'll say, now, if I could help you, you're doing 5 million. She's doing 160 million. If I could move you from 5 to 20, does that sound good to you? And I'll say, look, how much more money will you make? And they'll say, oh, I would make, $200,000 more dollars. And I'd say, well, my coaching program is $1997. So would you give me $2,000 if I gave you back $100,000? And they'll say, well, sure. And I'd say, well, let me go ahead and send an agreement over to you. Then we'll get started, because I can't help you until you commit. But that's the kind of results I can help you get. Everybody see that?
Yeah, I like that. Something that sometimes I'll use early on in the sales process, but I like how you phrase it in order to really use it for the close as well.
Yeah. Now, here's the deal. I believe people do business with other people that believe the same things they do, which is why I lead with my beliefs, not what I do. I go, see, we'll coach you some on the explanation of service, but the explanation of service says that there's 6 steps of a framework to get buy-in. And it's never lead with what you do. It's always lead with what you believe. There's 3 things I believe. I believe everybody needs a good coach. I believe with a good coach, you'll earn 3 to 4 times the amount of money. I believe you can't see the picture when you're inside the frame. Because of those beliefs, what I do is engage you through a 6-step process to find and fill your missing structures. Now, Jeremy Forrester, if this works right, we're going to get about a 43% increase in your business. Now, I'm doing it for about 400 people right now. If I could do it for you, does that sound like something you'd be interested in?
Oh, yeah.
Good. All right. I'm going to send the agreement over, Jeremy, right now. We're going to go ahead and get you started, because I can't help you until you commit. But once you commit, I'm not going to let you fail, big guy.
Hey,
And
Coach,
I'm especially going to help you because of your haircut and how good you look on here.
Coach, we spent some time like a year and a half ago as a team kind of working on an elevator pitch. And I love what you just said about starting with what you believe in. And, maybe what we'll do is one of the sessions we'll work on is helping us revisit and redevelop that elevator pitch, because, as you were talking, I was thinking of something. It'd be easy for us to come into a customer and say, I believe that technology can help you do business better. I believe that I don't know what the other ones are. I'm going to have to think for a minute, but, we could come up with 3 belief statements like that could be the beginning of our elevator pitch and then tie into that. So behind your 3 beliefs, what do you bring in after that in terms of like product?
Yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send you a framework to do this so the whole team can work through it, because it'll improve your close ratios drastically when you have a great explanation of service. So think of it this way. Here's what I believe. Here's why I believe it. Here's what it is we do. See, notice I didn't lead with what we do to the 3rd thing. I first led with my beliefs and why I believe it. That gives you a chance to believe it too. Like you could say, I believe technology can drastically do this, this, and this. Whatever your beliefs are, you're going to know in 15 seconds if I agree with you or not, by the way, because my body language is going to tell you if I agree. My wording is going to tell you if I believe the same things you do. If I do, we're in agreement.
Oh, sorry, guys.
Okay. Here's what I believe. Here's why I believe it. Here's what I do. Here's how we do it different. Here's everybody we've done it for, or some success stories of people we've done it for. That's the difference between this and an elevator pitch. See, an elevator pitch, you lead with what you do. What do you do? Well, I sell phone systems. Well, I do technology. Well, I do this. Nobody cares. Okay. Nobody cares what you do. Okay. They care about themselves, but they do line up with what you believe. Okay. They do line up with what you believe. Okay. And so when you share beliefs, you move toward people. When you don't share beliefs, you move away from people. So when I'm talking to people on the phone, I say there's a couple things I believe. Boom, boom, boom. Now, because of that belief, here's what I think you should do. Here's what we're going to do for you. Here's some people we've done it for. Here's maybe how we've done it different than other people. If we could do this for you, what would stop us from moving to the next round? So I'm going to send you an exercise for the whole team to work on this. All right. Are there any other questions? Has this been a good session for you?
Absolutely. Hey guys, don't be shy. If anybody wants to ask a question, jump in.
It's been great.
Now, just for social proof to let you guys know that it works. Remember me telling you I pushed the CEO earlier? I told you the text message I sent him, right? This is a guy I don't know, by the way. He's running a multi-million-dollar company. I got introduced to him by one of my clients, and I asked him a pointed question in my follow-up. Would you be open to a strategy call with you and I? 15 minutes to see if we have alignment, like so-and-so, like my client believes we do. He came back to me and said, yes, later this week. Now, here's the deal. This is a complete stranger. I don't know this dude. I went at him and I pushed him through my follow-up. Here's what I believe. I sent him some videos. Here's what I do. I don't know if we're going to be a fit for each other or not. Would you be open to this? See, I got nothing to lose. All he can do is tell me, no, I'm not interested. But he didn't. He said later this week. Now what has that done? Now it's opening the door. Now, when I get on the phone with him, what do you think I'm going to share with him? After I build rapport, after I locate a problem, I'm going to pivot to my explanation of service. I'm going to say, now, Dave, there's a few things I believe. I believe this, I believe this, I believe this. Because of those beliefs, here's what I've spent my life doing. Here's how I do it different than everybody else. Here's how I can help your company produce more revenue. Now, if this sounds good to you, let's schedule a time and let's keep moving the ball down the field. Does that seem like something you want to do? Yes, it does. Great. See how I'm moving him? I'm moving him in a forward position because I have such a framework that's keeping him in a forward posture. I'm not just getting on there rambling about a product. Notice I didn't say anything about a product. Okay, do you know that I coach one of the top whole life insurance people in the world, and he never uses the word insurance? You know why? Because when he says insurance, people shut down. So he uses the word strategy. Here's what I believe. Here's why I believe it. Here's a strategy I use. If I could use this strategy like I've used for all these other wealthy people, and you could shelter money off the radar screen of the IRS legally, would you be interested in it? And people go like, yes, of course I'd be interested in it. Never uses the word insurance. Why? He's not selling a product. He's selling a strategy. Okay? And that's what you got to get in your mind. People don't care about the product. They care about the outcome. That's why I tell my people all the time, don't sell a coaching program. Sell the results of being coached by me. That's what you need to be selling. Sell the increase they're going to get. Don't sell them a coaching program. Everybody's got a coaching program. Don't sell a product. Don't sell me the technology. Sell me the outcome of the technology. Sell me how I can generate more money. Sell me how I can track my salespeople's calls. Sell me how I can use the technology to get better. Sell me how, as a business owner, Coach Burt's going to make a little bit more money this year. That's what you need to be selling me. Okay? All right. Well, I hope if you have any questions, email me at coach@coachburt.com. If you are on this call and you're interested in some coaching from me, Eric White, raise your hand. Eric White is on here. Email him, eric@coachburt.com. You could get coached for a full year for less than $2,000, guys. And if I don't help you make a whole lot of money from that $2,000, I'll give your money back. And I'm going to tell you to get out of the business you're in too.
Hey, I'll throw out a little endorsement real quick. Coach Burt, you and I met, this is Jeremy from Nextiva. You and I met at NextCon 19 in November. You gave a great presentation. I'll be honest, we've heard speakers before. We've kind of heard that pitch several times. And that's the mentality I went into, quite frankly, your session with. And within probably 7 to 10 minutes, I was blown away and paid attention the entire rest of the time. And the one place or area of my business where you've impacted me just from that 1 hour session was asking for the close and not being afraid to ask what it's going to take to do business together. When you ask people that, they'll tell you exactly what it's going to take to do business together, which is ultimately what you want to know. And the reason I think that's been so impactful for me, my numbers have gone up over 33% every single month since then, to the point where I got a great promotion in February. And you know, utility is one of my partners. So every guy on here I work with selling our Nextiva products. So a lot of my success is shared with them. But I think we sometimes feel that we're supposed to feel gratitude for sitting in front of that customer, that we're there because they're allowing us to be there, and we're supposed to feel gracious for that. I think that's a sales mentality. And I think breaking yourself of that and remembering my time is useful. I'm offering a service that's incredibly valuable, presenting it to that person, and then asking them to do business with you. What's it going to take for us to do business together? That's what you've taught me, and it's had a huge impact on my numbers.
Good for you, and congratulations. Look, that one thing, guys, if you take that one thing that Jeremy said, just you're an expert. Act like an expert. Okay. And you should have so much conviction about your product and service, just like Jeremy's talking about, that you should be able to say, look, we believe there's nobody on planet Earth who's more equipped to help you than us. Okay. And if all they can say is no. So the consideration there is what he said. Oh, think about people that walk in and say, oh my gosh, thank you for taking this time with me. Thank you for giving me, like, what you're doing is you're supplicating. You're putting yourself in an inferior position to them. Just because they got the money don't mean they're more important than you. Mm-hmm. You're as important as they are. So when I walk into a sales meeting, I'm the buyer versus the seller. Okay. And that's what you got to make up your mind is you bringing something of incredible value to them. If they don't want it, it's okay. It's not rejection. Some will want what you have and some won't. Would you rather know in 15 seconds or chase somebody for 15 months? Okay. If you leave with what you believe. So hopefully from this call, there's people in your farm club right now that have indicated interest in your services, but you've been sales flirting with them and you need the guts to go for the kill. Look, we've been talking about this for 6 months. We've been going around this. You've indicated interest. I just ask people straight up on a scale of 1 to 10, James, how serious are you about this, man? And if I think they're low, I'll just say, it seems like to me you're 3 or 4. And I'll have people go, no. I'm at a 6 or 7. I'm like, well, okay. If you're there, then what's stopping you from moving forward? Like, let's remove whatever obstacle is in your way of taking action, because I can't help you till you commit. Okay. So you just got to have a little bit of little push there at the end, guys. Okay. All right, Tim, thank you for your time. We're going to be scheduling some more stuff. Every time we do this, we're going to have specific things. I'm going to send you some homework on the EOS, the explanation of service. And I hope you work on that, take it serious. I'd like to see your close ratios go up, and just by having the guts to ask, man. Okay, you got the prey drive. Let the tiger out of the cage, for goodness sakes. Okay, the worst thing they can do is say no, they're not interested. Okay, good, thank you. Thanks for letting me know. I can move on to the next person. Okay, because some will, some won't, so what?
Thanks, Coach. And hey, guys, we're going to have another session probably next week. I just got some days and times that were sent to me. And so we'll pick a day and time next week or the week after and have another session with Coach. And what would you guys rather focus on next? Social media or the sales pitch, not sales pitch. What do you call it, Coach? The elevator
explanation
pitch?
Of services.
Explanation
of services. Yes.
I believe. I vote for that. I vote we do explanation of services.
So do I.
That. So do
yep. So do I.
All right. So Coach is going to send us something to mess around with between now and then that will help us get there when we get back on. And then when we do that next week or whenever it is, we can't be shy. You know, we need to unmute and participate, please.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
All right, cool. Thanks, Coach.
Hey, here's
Thanks,
a quick
John.
question. Do you know Dave Ramsey?
I do. Yep.
So, I mean, aren't you in the Atlanta, same area? Or?
No, I'm outside of Nashville. Ramsey lives probably 30 or 40 minutes from me.
You just remind me of his style, so.
Yeah. He's, but I probably use more, I probably lean more toward using smart debt to purchase assets that I purchased than he does. But yes, he's kind of in your face pushing. And I would tell you, just to close this out, for all the people that want to talk about social media, you need to be using your explanation of services on social. If you follow me, you'll hear me wake up in the mornings and do videos, say, I'm Coach Michael BURT. I believe everybody needs a coach in life. I believe a good coach can change your life. We help people all over the country. Like, I use my EOS in podcasts, in interviews, on social media. It is one of the best things that pulls people toward me, because I have very strong beliefs. Okay. And that's really all you're doing on social is you should be sharing what you believe and seeing if people believe it too. Listen, we're seeing a president that has very strong beliefs in Trump. He knows every time he says something, there's going to be a percentage of people that don't like it, percentage of people that do like it. He knows that. All he's doing is sharing what he believes, right? So he doesn't care if you like it or don't like it. He knows that there's going to be a percentage of people that are drawn to him and a percentage of people that are repelled by him. But he shares those beliefs. Big time people have very strong beliefs, okay? And they share those with the market, and people either like it or they don't like it, okay?
100%.
Yeah, you have a message that repels. If you don't have a message that repels some people, you won't have a message that attracts the right people.
Right. 100%.
All right. You guys have a great day. God bless you.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. You too. God bless.
Thanks.